A local nonprofit conducting housing research in New Orleans has found that out-of-town companies are buying up dozens of units and converting them to short-term rentals. Lauren Bell spoke to one of the last few full-term residents living on a block in Treme.
So that's a short-term rental, that's a short-term rental, that's a short-term rental.
Meg Lousteau moved into Treme 15 years ago. Recently, she started to feel like she's one of the only full-time residents left.
I have seen neighbor after neighbor move out, either because they're forced out or because their landlord sells the building, and in so many cases those houses have become short-term rentals, so they're basically hotels.
On this block of Ursuline, 12 of the 17 units are short-term rentals, and the steady stream of tourists is constant.
Sometimes they are innocuous, sometimes they're really obnoxious. But the point is that none of them are my neighbors.
We're creating neighborhoods that are no longer inhabited by New Orleanians.
Brianne DeDecker has been tracking New Orleans housing for years through the organization Jane Place Neighborhood Sustainability Initiative. Recently, she collected data on several out-of-state companies that own more than 100 Airbnb units in New Orleans.
Stay Alfred, that has 172 listings in the city. There's a corporation called Sonder that's based out of San Francisco. They have 152 permits in the city.
An Airbnb spokesperson said in a statement, quote, "The vast majority of New Orleans Airbnb hosts are sharing the homes in which they live, and many do so in large part to afford to stay in their homes." Lousteau says she hasn't seen that in her neighborhood.
The picture that they try to paint for the public is that it's people who are just trying to make ends meet, but in reality the money is, and the bulk of the hosts in New Orleans are people who don't live in these properties. They live in other parts of town or other parts of the country, or they're corporations.
She says if this trend continues, locals will no longer be able to live in their city. Lauren Bale, Eyewitness News.
Airbnb says they have deactivated 3,000 listings last year that didn't follow city ordinances. And the city of New Orleans is launching its own study on the impact of short-term rentals.